Welcome to our Thursday day live stream.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
If you're new to our channel, welcome. Here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you find all the different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time we're enjoying winter, you'll be alerted to it. It's cold.
I was about to do the live stream from the shower.
Because the shower is amazing. But you know what? I am really enjoying it because we don't get seasons in Florida. We only have summer and diet summer. And sometimes you just want to see some beautiful winter months. And I have loved it. I mean, we were walking out of a Walmart into a parking lot, and it's like, there's not much to see in a Florida parking lot. But in a Utah parking lot, it's like mountains, snow-capped, everything. It was just beautiful.
So welcome to our live stream. We are in Utah, which is doing the live stream early today because we are going out to eat tonight with the Ruminati.
The Ruminati, Peter
Ballerstad, as well
Dr.
as
Lenskis.
Dr. Lenskis and Chris and Miriam. So that is going to interfere with the live stream, but we didn't want to miss the live stream, so we're doing it here. We are actually in Utah for the Keto Chat meetup.
Yes.
Which is going to be on Saturday. So if you're in the area, come down. It's going to be live streamed for free. We're going to be speaking as well as Dr. Lenskis.
Yes.
And so we're excited about that. In fact, we just recently recorded a podcast with Dr. Lenskis. He's just an awesome guy.
He is just such a lovely young man that I just love getting to talk to him. He's always very positive, very upbeat, such a wealth of knowledge. So again, if you are in the local area, we would love to see you in person. Always my warning, if you're coming and I'm going to see you, if you don't want me to hug you, like give me the sign, like, no,
don't hug.
Because I'm coming in hot. I'm always coming in hot. You know that.
So yeah, it is cold here. Chris and Miriam are amazing hosts. We're staying with them, hanging out with the kids and stuff.
We had an electric blanket.
They bought us an electric blanket.
Yes, that's like they knew.
I actually had to turn it off. I was so hot last night. So
that's when you know it's working.
Like I was freezing, 4 layers of clothes getting in bed. I woke up this morning, no shirt. Like I had kicked the blanket off because that thing warmed me up so well. Like I was like, yeah, I'm good.
If you live in a cold weather state and are enjoying winter right now, what are your tips for staying snugly?
Move to a warm state.
Move to a warm state. Well, you must have the perfect ratio. You got to get it down pat where you know that I'm going to go to bed and be warm, but not like wake up naked. So like, what is the appropriate amount of like blankets and heating elements, that sort of thing?
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to just kind of get into questions. If you have any questions about keto, carnivore, anything like that, we can go ahead and ask these. Next week we are supposed to be back to our regular live stream next week. I got scheduled for a lacrosse game, but I'm probably going to give it back because it's either that or do the live stream late, and I don't want to do that 2 weeks in a row. Plus, I was speaking with Dr. Jamie Seaman last night about the upcoming Hard to Kill Summit in Omaha, which is going to be the last weekend of July, and this year it's on Friday and Saturday. Tickets are going to be launching soon, so make sure you're watching for that. And I'm excited about that. So be ready to get your tickets. We're going to be going to Omaha. And then Chris and Miriam, are you guys going to Omaha?
I think so.
They think so. Maybe.
Yeah.
So, but also wanted to let you guys know that I forgot to put a link in here, but the tickets for Bronson and Natalie's conference in Maryland went up for sale yesterday.
How exciting.
So you can head on over he's got a link on his Facebook. If we can find it later, I'll
Don't you get so excited that these opportunities to get together and to learn are growing? They're expanding. Yep. I feel like every single year there's a new opportunity to like go to a conference, to someone's local area. And I just want to say that even though we had to move the live stream today, I'm really excited that you're here, and probably there is somebody here at this time that's not usually able to make a live stream when we have it at 8:30 Eastern. So I'm really glad you're here.
Hey, Marie Skidmore, thank you very much for the
Hi.
$4.99 super
Thanks,
chat.
Marie.
So just finished a body pump weightlifting class.
Woo.
Done to upbeat music. I'm so energized. Sunny weather in Arizona.
Oh, I love that.
I do want to say we're actually lucky that I'm even here and that I didn't get arrested on yesterday.
Yes, because Joe.
I've lost all confidence in TSA.
No, we have not saying that. He always goes to the crazy, but well, too crazy ketos. But yeah, we had gotten a cool knife at the Tampa RV Super Show because
right here.
Yeah. Okay.
It was in my bag.
It was in his backpack.
I didn't even know it was in my bag. It was like all the way in the bottom.
So yeah.
Somehow that got through security.
I know. So that made us a little bit concerned. But we are going to make sure that it's in our big suitcase going home. But yeah, that was a little.
Let's get into the chat. I saw a couple questions here. Rolling with Wharton.
Hi.
Said, has anyone else noticed that processed keto foods are less filling and that you tend to be hungry again sooner? Or am I a weirdo? No, you are not a weirdo.
You're not a weirdo
and
at all.
It's not processed keto foods. It's anything that's sweet, any kind of dessert thing, with the exception of keto chow. Keto chow, because of it's mostly protein and like fat, that's going to be really filling and satiating.
Right.
But anytime you get into, even if you're making them at home, if you're making mug cakes and stuff like that, a lot of that time, that stuff's just not going to satiate you. You're just, the sweetness many times wants you to just keep eating more. It's like more Oreos, sweet. Right? Like I had no shutoff valve for packages of Oreos. Carbohydrates in themselves don't satiate your appetite. And so you can eat more and more and more and more and more of them.
Even with like the things in keto, even within keto that are perfectly keto, but they're higher on the carbs. I'm talking about nuts, right? Talking about cheese, talking about like baked goods, so things that are made with almond flour, right? These are all going to be the things that are kind of naturally more carby anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? More lends itself to like a snacky food. And yeah, you're going to find that you don't have a natural shutoff valve for that. But eat meat.
Right.
Eat some fatty cuts of beef. We're going to be eating at a Brazilian steakhouse tonight. I tell you, I'm right now, there's going to be a level of disappointment for me because the protein wall you hit comes before you're ready.
Yeah, my experience is when you're eating, protein is going to fill you up in the moment. Fat helps you get to the next meal. So even if I eat a whole bunch of fat, I can eat a tremendous amount of fat in a sitting. If it doesn't have a lot of protein, it'll take me a lot longer to shut off. But if second you start mixing protein in there, like I'm going to get full very quickly. That's why even fat bombs, I can eat tons of fat bombs. Give me a tray of the brown butter bites. I can easily eat 1 or 2 sticks of butter in that in a sitting.
But chicken wings?
I'm not going to be able to eat that much if I'm including a bunch of protein in there. So
yeah.
that's what I always say. We're not against prepackaged keto treats or at-home keto treats. I mean, I brought some Nola bars with me, different things like that. I like the bars from, what is it, Genius IQ or something like that? Genius Gourmet. I love those bars, but I make sure I eat my food first, and then that's kind of like the topper to go in with my meal. We never eat any kind of snacky prepackaged things with the exception of maybe a keto brick as our meal.
Right.
Let's see. I can't even begin to imagine the stress and pain that may cause you. Oh, okay. So we have a different program when we're here on the road.
So reading comments comes across differently.
Yep. So let's see. Cody said, in the last year, I've lost 40 pounds, but my numbers are like the biggest improvement. I think I no longer have type 2 diabetes within the last 6 months.
Yes, that's so exciting. And really where we need to put our attention. The fact that like we are well in our bodies, that needs to be the priority. That needs to be what we celebrate. Of course, we want to see movement on the scale. Enjoy that. But that is not the most important indicator of success.
Rolling with Wharton said, I may go full carnivore just to lose weight faster once I eat up what I have and switch back to ketovore. One thing I would encourage you is don't try to lose weight fast. I think that we make that mistake a lot, that we try to drop it too fast. And one of the ways we do that is like slashing our calories, slashing the amount of food. And it will work in the short term until you hit that plateau, because now your metabolism slows down and the only thing is go lower. And then at some point you can't go any lower. And then when you get to where you want to be, it's going to be very, very difficult. It's much better to just take a little bit off of what you need. And from there, lose the weight slowly. Also, losing the weight slower helps with loose skin.
It truly does. It definitely does. And I will also say that, like, I have found over the last 5 years that I really need to enjoy my everyday life. You know, we have goals, big picture things that are measured in within a year, within a 6-month time span, within a 30-day time span. But I have to live this journey out every 24 hours. And I can't just be like living for, you know, a time when like maybe the challenge that you've placed before yourself is over. It's not like, okay, it's, you know, January, February, get started and we will enjoy ourselves in November, December. It's like, oh man, that is too long for me to think that I'm not going to enjoy what I'm eating. So if in order for me to really enjoy my life, I need a couple of vegetables tossed in every once in a while. Maybe I need, you know, a fat bomb or, you know, a prepackaged keto granola bar every now and then. I would rather just know that I have access to it than to kind of be like, I'm going to white knuckle this keto thing until November.
Sophia said, this is the only way of eating I've done consistently on my own. No nutritionist instructions and accountability. And it's the longest I've lasted on a special way of eating. This is very sustainable.
Same for us. Same for us. You're not alone. Congratulations on that long-term success of just sticking to it. There's something I think that does so much for our soul when we're able to carry this through for an extended period of time. The fact that we were always in a yo-yo diet mentality and every yo-yo was a different yo-yo, right? Like, I mean, it wasn't just one yo-yo like, okay, well, I did well on Weight Watchers and then I gained the weight back. It was like, I was doing Weight Watchers and then it was a round of Nutrisystem and then Jenny Craig and then there was the cabbage soup diet and like all of these things where you're not only losing momentum, but you're always like, I don't know what the key to success is. Right. I don't know what I'm actually supposed to be eating. And I think that that's why Dr. Berry referring to keto as like, you know, the proper human diet, it really speaks to my soul because knowing that I'm eating the right food for my species really gives me a lot of confidence. And it's like, no wonder I'm able to, you know, stick with this.
Right. Okay, so Rolling with Wharton said, I can use some guidance about how to have willpower to intermittent fast. I have to be careful. I can't afford to have brain fog. Slowed reaction times. Driving a semi can kill people. So that's no.
Yeah.
Okay, so not quite sure how long you've been doing keto, but if you're kind of new to keto, and when I say kind of new, I would say within the last 3 to 6 months. Don't be worrying about intermittent fasting. That's something that comes later. It's also something that will come natural.
Right.
I don't believe in forcing intermittent fasting. We don't believe in eating to a watch. We eat to our hormones. And when our body tells us we're hungry, that's the more natural way to eat. We were never designed to eat to a watch. We were designed to eat when we found food and we ate until we were full. And then we didn't eat until we found more food. So that's the way we eat. So, but once you do get into intermittent fasting, then the reason we, by the way, we say wait until like a good 3 to 6 months is because you want to get your body fat adapted.
Right.
You want to get yourself to the point where your body is running on fat and it's not dealing with the carbohydrates. It's not
confused.
It's past the point of, hey, I need carbs to get going. Again, go back to the Chinese thing. Why are we hungry a little bit afterwards? Because carbohydrates don't last that long. Our body uses them. And then we move on.
When you say Chinese thing, you mean like the
Chinese food.
Chinese food that, right. Like when, you know, you always kind of joke that like I could eat a huge meal, but then 20 minutes later I'm hungry again.
Right. So once you're at that point though, it becomes very natural to, you sit down, you eat your meal, you eat until you're really satiated, not a 300 calorie meal, not
lean cuisine.
2 eggs and 2 slices of bacon and that's a meal. We talk about all the time. Every meal should be at least 500 to 600 calories because nobody should be eating less than 16 to 1800 calories. And even that is on the very, very low end. So every one of your meals should be 500 or 600 calories. So you should be getting really satiated in your meal, making sure you're eating enough fat because the fat's going to get you to your next meal. But once you get there and now your body is used to using fat for its fuel, it'll be very easy to get to your next meal. But where do you start with intermittent fasting? Overnight.
Nighttime. Yeah.
Right now, we'll switch it up. Sometimes we will like eat breakfast and lunch and not eat dinner. Sometimes we'll eat lunch and dinner and not eat breakfast. Sometimes we'll only eat one meal. We kind of go by our hormones. If our body says to eat. This morning, Chris and Miriam were like, "Hey, do you want something?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm kind of hungry,
And
so
I was
I'm
like,
gonna eat." Rachel didn't eat.
and I wasn't like I was like, no. But then there's some days where I wake up and
Tuesday we didn't eat at all.
yeah, it's just how you feel.
Right.
And what I've learned is I just don't argue with how if I'm hungry or if I'm full. So
Right.
like if I'm full, I don't try to force myself to eat like, oh, I really should eat because it's the time to eat. And I also, if I'm hungry, I stop and like I eat until I'm full. So like last night we had such a great dinner. It was like leftovers from like, you know, and it was all different things. So it was like a variety of, I love leftovers night, PS. I know some people don't like leftovers, but I actually really look forward to it because you get like a smorgasbord.
Right.
It was like chicken wings and there was pork and there was ribs and chicken salad and like a nice variety. And boy, howdy, I ate,
Right.
you know, but I like to, like you were saying, leverage your sleep time.
Yeah.
So if you sleep 8 to 10 hours, if
Which
you
is
don't,
what you're supposed to sleep.
you don't get up in the middle of the night to go eat, like don't do that, right? Just let that's 8 to 10 hours that you fasted technically.
Right. So start off at night. So you eat your last meal. Let's say you finish your last meal at 8 o'clock at night, or even better, if you finish your meal before it gets dark and finish eating at 6 o'clock, don't eat till you wake up. You just had probably about a 12-hour to 14-hour fast. That's where you start.
Yeah.
And then maybe the next week you add an hour onto that. And that's how you can get yourself up to that fast.
Slow and steady.
And, you know, do intermittent fast. You don't have to do it every day. You can do it 3 days a week. If your body tells you when you get up in the morning, hey, I want to eat breakfast, eat breakfast.
Yeah.
Let's see. Cody said when you switch to carnivore, if you were eating enough fat, you will naturally intermittent fast.
So
I
true.
usually go 12 to 16 hours and I don't eat until I'm
truly hungry. And that feels very victorious. You know, a lot of times we have to do some investigation to find out when you are authentically full and you are authentically hungry. That is why we utilize triple B in order to do that. We ate nothing but beef, butter, bacon, eggs for more than 45 days, as much as we want, as many times we wanted, because we were trying to do the investigative research without any carb confusion as to when were we actually full? What does full feel like? What does hungry feel like? Because there's a difference between I am hungry and I am bored. There is a difference between I am hungry and I want something sweet because my day has been a little sour, right? Very, very different, you know, reason for eating. So finding out when are you authentically hungry and authentically full, it's a labor of love and personal data collection. But when it's over, you can move forward and you never again have to live in that quandary of, are my cravings ruling my life or am I making actual eating decisions that I stand by?
Yeah. Joanna said electric blankets are great. I put mine on 30 minutes before I climb in. So
nice.
I didn't get to tell you this morning. It reminded me of you as soon as I went outside though. So again, we're from Florida. Now I grew up in New York, so I'm kind of used to it, but it's been a while. I've been in Florida for 27 years.
Your grandfathered in
28 years. So we have a rental car. It is a Toyota RAV4. It's probably, I would say, an older model. I mean, the key, it doesn't have like the touch button to start. It doesn't have the like touch button. You actually have to use the remote to lock the doors. What it does not have, and something that I do not use in Florida, even though we could once in a while, is remote start. I wish it had remote start this morning.
Because you could warm it up.
Because I had to go get coffee and the entire windshield was covered in ice. And I had to sit outside in the car for about 20 minutes waiting for the windshield to defrost because I did not do what Rachel did when she lived in Virginia, and that is pour hot water on a windshield.
The Lord took care of me because I should have cracked the windshield of my car for sure. Because yes, I boiled up some water in a Pyrex bowl and threw it onto my windshield to try to like fast track my trip to
God was
to
protecting
work.
you that day.
Seriously. So but I was thinking about, we were talking recently about like stress and how to reduce stress and like how that's important as far as, you know, your eating decisions. If you're stressed out and you're a stress eater, you can see where that can go wrong. And so sometimes for me, part of my stress reduction is just getting up earlier, getting moving earlier so that I'm always early to an appointment. I cannot stand being late. I don't like the pressure of that. I don't like worrying that traffic will put me behind. If I'm stressed, I know I will make bad choices. So I need to make sure that I'm early to things. So, because yeah, that kind of thing would drive me nuts.
Oh, one normal ketovore said, I made it through security on accident with mace spray in my coat pocket.
Oh my gosh. I think I actually saw a super chat.
We read that one already.
Oh, I think there was another one from Keto Simple.
No.
I saw it. It was below. Maybe we just haven't got it to it yet. But
Okay.
I saw a blue button on that side.
That's on this screen. I'm looking over here. Keto Simple, thank you for the $2 super chat. Said, have enough fun in Utah for those not there.
Thank you so much. We will try our very, very best. And so far it's going awesome. We had we played a fantastic game. Miriam, what was the name of that game yesterday? Telestrations. It was so much fun.
Chris and I worked on drones.
I know you guys were like doing the BFF thing. I love it. I love seeing you be able to share a hobby with your friend. That is a really precious thing. But we were doing, it was telestrations. Let us know in the comments if you've ever played that before. But basically what it is a Pictionary matched up with telephone. Because you're picking a card that says like what you're supposed to like draw, and then you pass it to the next person, and then they are drawing it. And then they pass it to the next person to see, okay, what would you say this is based on the drawing? And then it goes to the next person that like redraws it. And it is hilarious because you may start out with like hot dog, and you're thinking, well, that's very straightforward. I'm going to draw a hot dog. By the time the last person gets it and you're going through that flipboard, I mean, it is like, I had one that was basically ending with a bird holding a gun. And it's like, it started completely different. It was like hot dog. Like, how did we get to this place? It was so fun.
Defense was said Super Bowl night. I put down 40 wings. Been so long since I had them.
Way to go.
John said, if you get hungry, often eat more fat and less carbs. Yep.
Very true.
If carbs are too high, you're going to get hungry faster. Well, that's how it seems to work for me. Yeah.
Same here.
Annabella said, I ate half a pavlova with whipped cream and no fruit on Saturday with my breakfast.
Nice.
It was heavenly.
Oh, I love that.
Annabella said, I've been very good at losing weight slowly, very slowly.
Same here, girl.
But there's changes happening inside.
They are. And I honestly think that the slowness of my personal weight loss part of my journey, it says a lot about how much, like how metabolically ill I was. I think that there's a lot. If you could look inside of my labs and if you could look if you could look inside of my body and my mind and my bones and see it as like, you know, scar tissue that's healing. Mm-hmm. There was a lot. There was a lot to heal on the inside of me. So it makes sense that if I'm healing from the inside out, my out is the last thing that gets healed, right? Like it's the last part of me that gets totally fixed.
Margie said, hello, Joe, and
hey,
my
Margie.
Beautiful Rachel.
Oh, I love you, girl.
Joe, I bought the sucralose you recommended. Is it bad to consume a half a teaspoon daily?
I mean,
that's a lot.
Yeah, I would try with a dropper.
We generally put 2 or 3 drops in our coffee. You know, it depends on how you feel about sucralose. You know, I don't have an issue with sucralose. If you're using liquid sucralose, I mean, a half a teaspoon isn't a whole lot, but I honestly have never measured out how many drops that is.
It's mostly, we do it in drop form, but you can totally see just by even using that's a totally perfectly keto sweetener, but you can see that like sweet begets sweet. Like you want more, you want to increase the sweetness. So like, yeah.
That's why it's good to take a break from sweet stuff every once in a while.
Yeah.
Sarah said, I'm celebrating today as I realized somebody's in the back. I realized that I have an hourglass figure again.
Oh,
it's
love
so exciting
that.
to discover that.
Oh, I love that so much. Yes. I mean, we really do change. I am just now trying like different jeans. I was telling the kids yesterday that like I bought some different cuts of jeans, but it had been so long since, I've just been wearing the same thing.
Right.
Because it was, the same style for like 25 years. I've been wearing the same style and never trying to venture out because my body type just was the same.
Mhm.
So as we lose weight and things change, it's really nice to see.
Personally, I like the hourglass figure.
Try different things.
We were talking about that driving the other day that, if you look in the 50s and the 40s and the 60s, like women had a shape, right? And now somehow society's told women you need to be a stick.
Well, what was interesting that you kind of brought up is because we watch a lot of like old movies. Like I love like Long Trailer. That's one of my favorites. I love Doris Day movies. I like Cary Grant, like all of those
But they all had a little bit of meat on them.
Well, what I was going to say is if you ask somebody like in my grandmother's generation, which would be that generation, like what size are you? They would tell you measurements.
That's right.
They would not, my grandmother wouldn't tell you like she wore a size whatever, because that wasn't how you would get dresses. She didn't have a ton of clothes. It feels like it was a lot more intentional buying clothes. Like you had a coat, not like 10, right? And so in dresses and stuff, it was like you were measured for it. So it was like she would tell you, okay, 38, 24, 36. It was a measurement, not like us where we're like trying to be like a size 2
0.
or 0 or something like that.
Kat said, if I can't find the full fat Greek yogurt, can I use the low fat Kirkland one as a start for the whole milk recipe you guys have? Yeah. To make yogurt, you can use any yogurt that has live cultures in it. Now, I like Faje because I like the type of cultures that they have in there. It makes it very thick. Every yogurt has different cultures. So if you look over the back, usually it's like the last 2 ingredients are cultures. And that's the live bacteria. You need to make sure it has live bacteria. I believe the Kirkland does. I can't promise you that using Kirkland is going to give you the same consistency as using Faje because I haven't tried it. But I have tried other brands, and I do know that. So even if it's no fat, the key is that the culture has to have live bacteria in it.
Right.
Miss Perfectly Imperfect Keto said, I've done 2 7-day fasts in the past 4 years, and come day 3, I have a natural high.
Yeah.
For me, I can't sleep the first night. I'm usually so like jazzed at 24 hours. So not the first night, 24 hours in. So whatever, I guess that would be technically the second night. I generally have so much energy I can't sleep.
Yeah, I have the same result, and it's still like interesting that you have ups and downs in energy. It's almost like you could feel your body in times where it's like, oh, it just ate some of my fat, because you'll have like a burst of energy suddenly.
Margie, is it bad to eat a bar of keto brick? Because I can eat one in a sitting, and what else can I include to increase my protein when eating a bar?
We did 7 days of nothing but keto brick.
If you can eat an entire keto brick in a sitting, which I can, and you can do it and still have the results that you're looking for, because again, it is 1,000 calories,
mostly fat,
800 of which roughly are fat. Because again, Robert really focuses on eating high fat. Don't worry about it. Robert eats generally a whole brick in a day. Now he eats more fuel than I do, because look at Robert. But if you want to add protein, you eat a can of chicken. You would be looking to eat something kind of lean because you're eating so much fat there. But again, the keto brick is not meant to be like a whole meal. It's like, in addition to, it's a great way to up your fat. It's great for like if you're on the go, if you're hiking, backpacking, things like that.
Because it's still 1,000 calories, and 1,000 calories would not be enough for like my day is done.
No, and you do need to get some vitamins and nutrients. You need to eat beef. That's why like we've done things like beef and bricks. I know Robert does a thing every year in January, like where he eats nothing but beef and bricks. So beef's bringing in all your nutrients. But if you just want to have that and then also have other protein, I would look at like salmon or tuna fish and chicken breast. That's all very lean. Like a lot of times if I just want to get a whole bunch of protein, I don't eat tuna, but I will eat a whole can of chicken breast.
Yeah.
So
I ate the tuna for him and the salmon and all the seafood.
Amanda, I've been stalled for about 2 months. I'm thinking Ketovore is the shift I need to take. Just struggling a bit with taking that step.
Yeah, you can do it. Like I mean, I know it's hard to like take that next step, but I mean, here's the thing. It's not a blood oath. Sometimes we put like the pressure on ourselves, like, okay, if I say I'm going carnivore, that's it. There's no way back. And it's like, why? It's your goal. It's your decision. So the same thing with this. If you're like, hey, I'm thinking about taking the next step from keto to ketovore, but I'm really afraid that if I like put that label on myself, I'm trapped. You're not trapped.
Right.
And if anybody says you are trapped, like now you've become one of us and like, this is it for life, then I would step away from that group because they'd be crazy, you know? So like, try something. If you're like, hey, I need to change it up, but be willing to say like, this is not the totality of my identity. I don't need to say that if I decide to do ketovore from keto or go carnivore, or if I even try to do a stint in Lion diet, that this is it for life. Like, no, nobody should be holding you to that.
Karen said, don't eat 2 o'clock. Smartest thing I have ever heard. It's something that, again, and I mean, we had messages on last week's keto or this week's keto be on the couch because
it's a touchy subject.
It's a touchy subject. We're not against intermittent fasting. We're against intermittent fasting doing it for the wrong reasons. There are definitely benefits to it, but
absolutely.
I think, again, doing things for the wrong reasons, even if it's something that's good for you, is not a healthy thing to do. Doing something like, you can, if you go off the rails and eat something you shouldn't do, doing a 24-hour fast is going to get that out of your system nice, quick, in a hurry, right? But doing that messes with us mentally. So now you're doing something that could be okay and healthy for you, but you're doing it for the wrong reason, and it results in us creating issues for ourselves and getting into a binge and purge mentality.
Well, and it's like, I promise it will happen naturally if you are prioritizing protein and fat and you are minimizing the amount of carbohydrate confusion going on inside of your body. You will find out sometimes I'm really hungry and sometimes I'm full and I don't need to eat and I'm not going to try to push the issue. I'm just going to move on. I think that it's like if you try to make it happen by being like, these are the hours in which I shall eat, it's kind of like potty training a toddler when they're not ready. If you've ever tried that before, it is not fun, right? If you've decided, hey, everybody in my mommy and me group says that 18 months is when we start potty training, or 2 years or whatever, that's when we start. I tried that with Caleb. I absolutely tried to make it happen. And it was miserable. When I finally said, I give up, I'm going to let this happen naturally and trust that he will give me the cues and we will work on this together, and I will trust the cues that he's given me and like act on it when I see that like to go to the bathroom. Guess what? We were potty trained within the week and never had an accident of moving forward. So if you're eating good food and you are just listening to your body, then you will intermittent fast.
Right.
It will become a thing. You will eat 2 to 3 meals one day. You may eat 2 meals another day, 1 meal on a day. It will just naturally happen. But if you try to make it happen before you're ready or in the midst of more carb confusion than what is necessary, then it'll just be frustrating.
Yeah. And the thing about like with the intermittent fasting is, again, we were not designed to eat 2 o'clock. It doesn't even make sense that we do that. When you start going like, well, I'm really hungry, but my watch says I have to wait 30 more minutes. I mean, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And even where Dr. Barry had talked about, people have asked us, why only 1 cup of coffee? The reason, it's not that coffee necessarily was the issue, but he said what happens is a lot of times, one of the ideas with beef, butter, bacon, and egg is to get in touch with your satiety and really learn when you're hungry, because let's face it, none of us binge beef. We just don't, right? You're going to eat beef. You can only eat X amount of it and you're going to be done. But what happens is a lot of us, because of our past issues, whatever, we don't understand what it really truly feels like to be full. We don't know how to recognize those hormones. That's why
mute it.
we sit down and we eat until we're full. But what happens is a lot, and then we don't understand when are we hungry, like physically hungry, or do we want to snack for an emotional reason or something like that? So what happens is a lot of times we will use water or soda or coffee or some type of a beverage to fill us up, to try to trick ourselves to not be hungry. We're gonna, oh, well, I really want to eat, but I'm not gonna eat. So I know it's not a lot of time to eat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trick myself and tell myself I'm full by drinking coffee. And we want to try to get in touch with our hormones. Now, once you're done with beef, butter, bacon, egg, and you understand now, okay, this is hunger, this is what I'm supposed to eat, then it can go back to it. And then you have Dr. Sivas, who talks about if you're going to snack, because we should never snack. You don't snack when you're hungry. It's an emotional event he talks about. That's where he'll say, okay, grab some water or a coffee, black coffee, and use it as a bridge. But again, what are we trying to do there? We're trying to not eat something.
Yeah.
So there was something else here I saw that, normal ketovore said, I love not being hungry.
Yes.
Sometimes I'm like, why? Did God create us to need food and go to the bathroom?
Right. I feel like there's more to life than that, and I'm thankful. I mean, we're noticing that more and more as we like try new things and let go of like all of our date time together spent eating. It used to be that like all of our date time, every date we ever went on was revolved around food or involved food. Like even going to the movies was like a lot of eating and food. And it's really nice that my whole life doesn't revolve around food anymore. Like I can have other interests. It's really nice.
Cindy said, I don't like keto bricks. Way too gritty. I have too many, and I've tried many flavors. I've melted them down. Thank goodness my husband likes them. And yeah, I know keto brick. I love keto bricks. I've been buying keto bricks. It has nothing to do with the fact that we're friends with Robert, because it's not like, we're super tight friends or anything.
Right.
I've been buying them since the first time we put them out. I really like them because one of the things that I like about keto bricks is it's not a candy bar. It serves a purpose.
It's doing a job.
It does a job. It hits that sweet tooth for me, but it's not something where I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to eat a keto brick because I want a candy bar, because it's not a candy bar.
Yeah.
It's 80% fat meal replacement, but it is one of those things that you either like them or love them, or you don't like them at all. Like we love them. I know Steve did a review the other day and he didn't like them at all.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's why we talk about taste is subjective. There's a lot of things that I really, really like and Rachel hates and thinks they're disgusting. And then there's things like tuna fish. I think it's the most disgusting tasting thing in the world.
And I love it. So, here's the thing though. Aren't you thankful that we don't have the same taste? I feel like it's actually kind of good for our marriage, especially when it comes to some of these portable foods, because you never have to worry that like certain things are not going to be available to you. Oh, look who's here. Oh my goodness.
Hey, what's up? So looks like we're dropping different frames.
Oh my gracious.
We're just finishing up a live stream. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? We got Dr. Lenskis here.
Yeah, come on over here.
So we're getting ready. He just flew in. How's your flight?
Awesome. I'm tired.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was nice and super cool.
FMP, are we doing Facebook Mighty Network comments or just YouTube comments? Yeah, whenever we do a live stream, it's only off of YouTube stuff. So
The YouTube.
Off of the YouTube.
Yay!
It's good to be here.
So good to see you.
So okay. Looking for some comments now. Annabella said, I love how your fasting makes your taste buds change. What are your thoughts on fasting?
What is your thoughts on fasting?
It makes everything taste good.
It makes everything taste good. I agree. Yeah.
So one of the things we've been talking about
I'll tell you. I'd love to hear about it.
One of the things we talk about is that intermittent fasting can be good, but you can do it for the wrong reason. Where you start fasting we see a lot of people who they fast to their watch and they eat to their watch to be like, oh, wait a second, I'm really starving. My body's giving me every cue it's time to eat, but my watch says I have to wait 2 more hours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think that's right. Listen to your body and know, okay, time to eat. Like you don't get an award for fasting longer necessarily, right?
Wait.
Right.
But
I thought that was like
Yeah.
higher level adulting.
yeah, so no, that's really important. And the way I'm looking at it these days, like last year, it depends how you look at fasting, right? So I would do 1 meal a day, and I lost 0 pounds in the year, right? Right, 0. I didn't lose any. So for me personally, it wasn't the thing, right? So then sometimes you realize, okay, mix it up. Have 2 meals one day, and listen to your body. But I'm so busy during the day, I don't even think about it.
Right.
So just because you can do it doesn't mean it's a good idea. But
That is a really good, because I think that a lot of people are utilizing it thinking that this is it. As soon as I start fasting 23 hours a day, that's when like the weight is just gonna fall off. So then when it does not happen that way for you, then you're like, what is left? Like I'm so worried. Like if fasting 23 hours a day ain't gonna make me lose weight, like am I broken as like a human person? Like that's really upsetting.
So Annabella says, I think it's healthy to snack for emotional reasons. I've had to learn to be able to have treats and that it's okay to have a snack. I say this after hanging around with dietitians.
Oh, okay. What do you think about snacking?
Well, I'm gonna go
I try
back.
not to.
Yeah, and especially for the emotional reasons, I'll go back. One of my favorite guys is Rob Sivas, who is a no nonsense, like
We were just talking about
That's
it.
an
iron
understatement.
fist.
All snacking is an emotional
Yeah,
event.
it's an emotional event. So that's the thing, is saying, okay, why am I snacking? And all the time I have patients. As a matter of fact, yesterday, it's not because I'm hungry, it's because I'm bored. One of my patients told me that whenever I'm bored, I start eating. It's like, okay, let's occupy the time. Because, Jason Fung and I just had a conversation about this. And Jason, it was great because he said, yeah, fasting's not fun. And that's what it is. It's not the greatest thing, right? Like no one looks forward to it necessarily. But, and there's different trains of thought, obviously, on that stuff. But, a lot of times snacking is like saying, okay, you didn't eat enough for breakfast, or you didn't eat enough for lunch, right? Or you're emotional, or you're stressed, or you're tense. So it depends, because some people, if they have that snack, then they can't stop, and they're always snacking, and then they're all the time eating.
Right.
So other people will say, yeah, I'm not really hungry. So having a continuous glucose monitor, for instance, I can look and go, okay, my sugar's 94. I'm not really hungry. Let me have some salt, right? You could lick some salt off your hand, or you could have some Element or something like that, or Redmond, since we're in Utah. So there's different ways around it, but I think snacking is for me, it's dangerous personally. When I first started keto, as a matter of fact, I just did a podcast and we were talking about seed oils with Nick Norwitz and Tucker Goodrich. And so anyways, and we're talking about that, and he goes, you can't get fat eating macadamia. And I was like, oh, I can.
Yeah,
I can for
man,
sure,
I'm
right?
a master.
Because if I sit there all day just snacking, and a lot of times you're not thinking, you're just saying, I'm just bored, I'm tired, I got a break. And so it's kind of an escape, an emotional escape.
I can eat that whole giant bag that you get at Costco in a day.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, easy, right?
I mean,
you can do that.
So
Yeah.
I would disagree with him on that
Well,
one.
I like that so Nurse Cindy had said something similar before about how she started using a glucose monitor to see, is this for real? Because she was like, and I mean, just because like you're an expert in a field of your life does not mean everything about yourself. And sometimes you just have to take some data collection to see, like, is this real, or is this me from the past bringing in an emotional response to it?
Consistently Keto Lifestyle said we only eat during daylight hours, and we try to keep our eating window to 4 to 6 hours and finish at 5 p.m. at the latest. Usually,
That's a good.
So pretty much
like
the
3 or
opposite of
4.
Ramadan.
Yeah.
so it looks
Yeah,
like
that's
we
a good
are.
thing.
Annabella said, I starved myself so bad, my natural instinct has been to not eat. That's why it's healthy for me.
And
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And
Yeah.
the thing, you have to learn about yourself. I know for me, it's like we talk about like not having bad habits. I would find that every time I sat down in front of my computer, I wanted to eat, and I could just keep going and going and going and
Yeah.
figuring out what is it that triggers, and then do something else instead.
Yeah, and I think I'll go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask you, what are some things that you advise for your clients that like would be something to do instead of eating in this moment?
Oh, there's so many things that, I just sip on my Element, or I'll have, maybe what's that company called? Keto
Ready?
Chow.
Okay.
Keto
No,
I've
I'm
heard
just
of
kidding.
Keto
But
Chow,
you have the
yeah.
drops, you have other things you can do, or being distracted. Jason and I talked about this with fasting. He said, how many people are halfway through a hike and go, I got to eat something right now. Because if you think about it, if you're doing something you enjoy, like my last longer fast I did because I was working in the garage all day and it was like 4:30. I said, well, I haven't eaten all day. I'm not really hungry. I'll eat tomorrow. I'm not really hungry and I don't have anything going tonight. So sometimes when you're distracted, you don't think about it. Like no one's in the middle of a basketball game or a heated discussion, go stop, or getting a massage and go, okay, stop the massage. I'm going to go get something to eat. Right. So when you're relaxed, and so that just tells us how much of it is emotional, right? That's emotional. I'm stressed, I'm depressed, I'm upset with my husband, all those things. So, and also I would say with the snacking, it depends how metabolically healthy you are. Right. If I have someone who's super healthy and they're fit and they're insulin, they can snack all day. Right. But if we're 350 pounds and our sugars are high and our insulin's 58, it's probably better not because, since we're in Utah, we have to talk about Ben Bickman saying, look, you have to lower the insulin. You have to lower the insulin to burn fat. That's just the bottom line. He goes, you can get fat cells, you can put them inside sugar water, you can put it in Crisco, put it whenever you want. It's not going to grow until you drop that insulin. So one of the benefits of fasting or time restricted eating is that you're lowering your insulin, and exercise also is going to lower your insulin. Right. Might even talk about that.
What?
So
wait, are you going to be speaking?
Yeah,
somewhere?
believe it or not.
When's that?
All of us are. Yeah, this is fun. This is fun.
So we are going to get off. So again, if you want to hear more from Dr. Lenskis, either come to the Keto meetup on Saturday. What time is it at?
5 p.m. Mountain.
5 p.m. Mountain.
7 Eastern.
What time is that in
4 p.m.
South Korea?
I don't know in South Korea, but it's 4 p.m. in the Pacific Standard Time Zone. Or stream it.
And it's also going to be on the Keto Chow YouTube channel for free because they're awesome.
They're super awesome.
So we are going to get off because I think that we're having some drop frames, and we're also going to get ready to go eat some meat.